Hi.
Hi,
Fran.
stranger.
How are
Hey,
you?
I'm lost, or I'm
Why?
found, or I don't know. I
I
haven't
know
been here in a long time.
it's been a long time. I'm trying to remember. I tried to remember this before. I want to say the whole calendar of July. I don't think we've been together.
Yeah,
Well, not on this.
yeah, we've been together.
Yeah. Hi, Alex. Thank you for joining us. I know we might have been a minute or two
Hi, Alex.
late starting. So we were doing some technical things. So for anyone who has not been here before, this is Friday with Fran. We'd like to thank you. Basically, we just welcome you into our conversations that we tend to have as it relates to special education stuff or raising children with unique abilities or disabilities or special needs or
Mhm.
whatever the term is that you are comfortable using. We've run into that before. I haven't. Fran has mostly. We don't mean to offend by saying certain wording. It's just what we've been used to or what we're using.
What we're
So
comfortable with. Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, Fran and I have been friends for quite some time now, and she has raised now grown children with disabilities. She herself became a person with a disability a few years ago. I am a special education teacher, now a special education consultant. And so we think we're covering a lot of the the world as far as it goes, as far as special education and special needs and that sort of thing. We don't have any medical. We need to find somebody who can like represent the medical. Oh, Michael.
Hey, that would work.
um, so yeah, our friend Michael, who joins us sometimes and who has covered for Fran a couple of times in the past. He's an EMT. I don't know if he would be able to how much of the medical side of things that he would be able to help us out with, but he would certainly be an added and a welcome guest. So if he's listening in the replay or if he's joining us live and hasn't commented yet, we may try to work that out sometime that the three of us are on together. And so anyway, yeah, it's been a
Have a
long
barbecue
time.
too.
So Fran,
It has been a long
what's
time.
new? What's
What's
new,
new?
Pussycat?
Not much, or lots, or maybe somewhere in between. How does
Oh,
that sound?
confusing.
Okay. Well, let's break it down.
Okay,
We haven't been together because you were
I was on vacation
you were on vacation, and then you were
at a
at a conference,
conference.
and then
Are you hearing the
I
ding when I'm turning up the volume?
yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. And then I was I'm getting feedback.
Are you? Okay.
Hmm.
I may have to. Anybody who's been with us before, you notice I don't have my earbuds in. They just didn't have enough battery power. And so I was trying it to just do it with my camera microphone and speakers. But if I need to, I'll plug in. So do I need to, Fran?
I'm not getting it. I only get it when I talk.
Oh, okay. That's because I was having a hard time hearing you on my end. So I turned my volume up to hear you better.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Let me turn me up this way.
Okay. Sorry, this was what I meant when I said we were doing technical things before the show started because I put my headphones in or my earbuds in and I was like, 5% battery. Oh, well, that's not going to last very long. So had to figure something else out. I heard the door.
Yeah. Can you hear me better now?
I can, yeah. And probably the audience could. It was probably just me.
Alex, can you hear us? Maybe that'll solve the problem. Okay, so we covered you were on vacation and then you went to a conference.
Yep.
And then I had a surgery.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I had a total knee replacement.
And how are you healing from that? Alex says we sound okay to her.
Okay, cool. I feel the pain is something that I was not prepared for. So I'm struggling a little bit with it. But it's apparently pain that everybody has. So I have to suck it up, buttercup. And it's just been this many church days.
2 weeks.
So I keep forgetting that, and I think I should be doing better.
Yeah, that's what I hear from a lot of people, that they thought that they would be further down the road at different points than what they are, and they feel like they're not progressing then, so they feel like a failure, and that's not the case at all. Everybody heals at a different rate. Absolutely, Alex, she's doing great.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how. So anyway, that's where I am. My days are filled with being on an ice machine or doing therapy exercises or going to physical therapy. And I actually was given permission to start driving.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And today I was going to try it out, but I just didn't feel like it. So
yeah,
we're going to wait.
All right. Well, that's good. Listen to your doctor and trust your gut.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to do it. Yeah.
So that would explain where we've been.
Yeah. So let's talk about
your conference.
Talk about the conference? Okay.
Or where are you going?
I was going to talk about you, but okay, we can talk about me first. So yeah, the conference that I went to was my Master IEP Coach Conference, and there were this many times more than the very first year that I went. And so that's really awesome. But the sad thing was we found out that we're not going to do the big one anymore. And so that almost made me cry when I learned that information, because if anybody was with us last year after I went, we talked about it, and they are my people. They understand me in a way that very few people understand. And every person has that same feeling, whether this was their first year or this was their fourth, whether this was their A year or their D year. They have that feeling when they come in. And several of them commented that when they were driving to the airport, when it was over, when they were on the airplane going home, or when they were driving, back to home, whatever transportation they used, how they felt like they had left something behind. And then they all had the same realization that we left connection pieces, because we don't have those when we're not in physical contact. I mean, we all have the internet, and that's a wonderful thing. But there is just something about all of us being together. And I mean, with that many people, we all couldn't do the same things outside of the conference together. Some people on one night, they went to a Backstreet Boys conference. Some people went to a baseball game. Some people went and hung out at this public marketplace where they had games and different things that we could do. Some people just went back to their hotels and was like, I never get a room to myself, because a lot of the Master IEP coaches are moms and dads. And so they're like, I never get to do this. I'm just going to go out. And then some of us went karaokeing one night. Others went to a speakeasy. And still others went, I forget where they went the next night. And it's not just, sorry, I didn't realize I didn't have my phone down prior. It's not just the Master IEP coaches that connect. Kevin came with me last year, and he connected with another Master IEP coach's husband. And that Master IEP coach's husband came this year too. And they instantly just picked up from where they left off last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so yeah, it was exciting and wonderful, and then sad, because and working with collaborating with teachers, parents, administrators, and therapists, and people who aren't technically in any of those roles anymore full time, like myself.
Mhm.
You know, so then we had your coaches. Um, it's incredible to work collaboratively, and that's what we do as master IEP coaches. We want to come to the table and bring everyone together. So first of all, it's like this, and it isn't like this, to where there's
Uh-huh.
sides. And secondly, because we're all supposed to be there for the student. So being able to talk with and hear, teachers were hearing from these parents who weren't the parents that they work with. And so when that happens, I think they trust what's being said more, and vice versa. So parents were hearing
Right.
from teachers that weren't their children's teachers, and hearing how things work behind the scenes in schools all across the country. And so it's more than just your building your experience in that moment. And it's just a wonderful thing, and it's something that hopefully will, in little individual pockets all across the country, happen at the
Right.
meetings. But instead of having these bigger conferences, she's wanting to do conferences with maybe this many people. Oh, it's wrong way.
Uh-huh.
And so that she can really get to know each of the master. And when I say she, I mean Catherine Witcher. So that she can really get to know the coaches better and really help them strengthen their own business, because each one of us kind of has our own business, so to speak. Hi, Mom.
Mom.
Yeah, I don't know. My internet's doing weird things today. I noticed it was saying that my signal wasn't great a little bit ago. So yeah, I mean, I don't have one big one to look forward to now. I have to decide a few times throughout the year which one I might go to.
Got it.
So, yeah.
And maybe you could see it as instead of like a big retreat, as these mini retreats that are the booster shots that you need to get you through all the different seasons. But I hear what you're saying, and not having the tribe together and being able to have that collaboration, massive collaboration.
Yeah. Yep.
I can see how that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was. And there were a lot of us who were very sad, but I mean, I understand Catherine's vision. I understand the wanting to go deeper with smaller numbers of people, because honestly, she really didn't get to work with us that much, because she had different speakers coming in to talk to us. And then she had some of the master IEP coaches leading some sessions because they have expertise in areas that she wanted shared. So, her desire is to work and with individuals a little bit more. So yeah, but also massive groups. Like she's out, since we've had the conference, she's been out doing massive teachings in large teacher conferences across the country. So
cool.
Yeah. Yep. So what I was going to ask you to talk about was, when you were in hospital for your surgery, how did you work out your way of understanding numbers and understanding what was happening with you and to you and with your medicines and with, all the things when you're in a hospital that you have to deal with numbers?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't have it with me right here, but maybe I'll look for it in a second. But if you go into hospital rooms, there's always these smiley faces.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen them? There's pain scale, there's numbers, and then there are smiley sad faces, and sometimes they're colored, sometimes they're not.
Right.
And at the hospital system in which I was, theirs were colored. And so that's how we worked out the pain scale, or how the number system there. And it was kind of interesting, because some of the nurses, they would keep asking me for a number, and I would say a color, and no, what's the number? And I would just say a color, because I no longer they all had, I have a card that I give people to read, and I call it my accommodations card. It was developed by a home speech therapist that I had when I first had my stroke.
Okay.
And we've made a couple of modifications, and I actually need to make some modifications. I need to find somebody to help me reword it again. It's because some things have changed, but I give it to whomever comes in so that they can know, and I don't have to say it every time and explain myself, because after a while you get tired of explaining, and in reality I don't feel like I should have to explain if it's in my records. It's a part of who I am, so therefore you should have read that. And
And
maybe
I
that's,
understand that. Yeah, I totally understand that. I always try to look at other perspectives and not just the one. So I'm thinking about it from the nurse or the CNA's perspective that comes into your room to do, whatever it is that they have to do. And I don't know where that card is in your file. And I also don't know.
well, it was actually on the board, the board that's always on the wall. It
At
was
the
on the
one
board.
hospital. Was
It
it at
was
the
on,
second hospital?
it was at the nurse's station.
Okay.
They had it on the nurse's cart.
Yeah.
So you're right.
So I see
So,
it from
so
both.
being understanding, um, but when I have it on the board, I've been there for, because at the one hospital I was there for quite a while,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. No, like 10 days or something.
overall I think it was maybe that bet- between the hospitals was
Yeah.
how long.
Okay.
So, um, but anyway, so I have this card that kind of gives them a heads up about the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just bring me the pills. So I just kind of had to trust that they were bringing them when they were supposed to. And I'm trying to think of any other instances. I mean, there were plenty, because a lot of times, I guess I was tired of trying to navigate it, and I would just ignore them or just agree and hope that what they were saying was appropriate, because I wasn't sure.
Right.
There was a time that I did call somebody to try to figure out what I was. I lost a lot of blood,
Mm-hmm.
and I required some transfusions. So I was trying to figure out where I was in the whole grand scheme of life. so, so to me, that was kind of important. So I needed somebody that understood me, and then also understood numbers to help me work through that. And so I was able to get that done.
Good.
So does that help cover kind of what you were asking?
Yeah. Because I had never, I mean, all of the people that I've ever visited or stayed with in hospitals, they didn't need to do what you needed to do. And so that was something unique for me to witness and hear about. And what you did might be helpful to somebody else who's, maybe they don't have number aphasia, but they have, something else where they need to be accommodated in some way. And so having it on a card ready to go, typed out, laminated, like you have it, maybe they'd never thought of that before.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted you to bring it up and talk about it, because I felt it was a very useful tool. As we've talked about with our toolboxes, though, not everybody uses all of the tools properly at the right time and every time they need to use that tool.
And I actually, to go back to that accommodation card, I have it in my Google Drive as a starred file.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can quickly come to it, and I can pull it up on my phone, and I can hand my phone to somebody as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's even better.
So that I have it at all times. And to go with another tool there, just with a Google, for me, Google Drive is amazing because I have all my med lists, my kids' meds list, all of them are, it's all there. And so even if I forget that list when I go to the doctor, I can easily pull it up and go, well, these are the meds they're on, and these are the meds I'm on, or this is my surgery list. I even have a list for something, oh, all the pain injections I've had.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
just to have it all in the Google Drive in files, and then you're set.
Yeah, that's incredible. And what maybe even just this thought came to me because I'm thinking about, okay, maybe I need to have something like that for myself, or mom. Maybe this is something that we can work on, that we somehow can connect it to each other.
Yeah.
That,
I
like
do have it connected actually.
where I go in the hospital, that she could access it, or Kevin can access mine, or whatever, and then it's there.
I have it shared actually with
Do you?
my medical POA.
That's
She has access to all of my files.
right. Because like I think we mentioned it, that mom had been in the hospital not very long ago, and she does have a record of all of her medicines that she takes and all of that stuff, and she carries that with her all the time in her purse. But if something were to happen to her and she didn't have her purse for some bizarre
Mhm.
reason, then we don't have access to that information. Then we have to try to
Right.
remember everything. And because she lives on her own and is extremely independent and very healthy, praise God, thank you very much. If something changes, we don't always know that either. And
Right.
sometimes her list doesn't get updated, or, if stuff gets removed, it's easy to cross it out. But if there's an addition, then it's okay. Got to write
Mhm.
it up, got to type it out, or not type it out, but print it out.
And I think this is really important for parents of kiddos with unique needs, because you tend to have more medical needs along with those unique needs. Is you developing a file folder that you have. I have one. That's what I was kind of glancing around,
Mm-hmm.
but I just had doctor's appointments, so it's still in my room.
Oh, okay.
Because in my file folder is a smiley face chart, colored, that I carry on me as well, because I used to get pain injections, and they would ask me, well, what's your pain level?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, it's like this smiley face. Well, we don't know what that means. I'm like, well, here you go. And
Yeah.
so I solved the problem for them. But as a parent, it is important to develop a file folder that it's just a pocket folder, is what I use, that I have copies of their ID card, or if they have one, and their insurance card, literally a copied sheet, as well as you always carry the originals, but then I have that. I have a list of medications. I have, when the doctors get really big, I have a whole list of doctors. And then once medical procedures start having, I have a list of surgeries, and hospitalizations and ER visits.
Well,
And
that's awesome.
I've found those are very important things. Yes, we are blessed with my chart and other things like that through some of the hospital systems around, but having this is a concrete way of you being able to go, no, that's not right. This is when they were there. This is what happened. This is the medication they tried, and this is the allergy that happened because of this medication. That's why they can't have it. So I literally have written out the medications that I've had adverse reactions to, and what those adverse reactions were, and why I was given that medication originally, so that when somebody late, because I can't remember them all,
Right.
but I can look at the list.
Yeah.
And so I think this is something that's important to put in your toolbox. And this isn't a hypothetical toolbox. This is a real paper toolbox, is the folder.
Yeah. And there might be apps out there that can track that information too. But again, the key I think here is making sure that when you get something like that put together, that important people like a medical power of attorney or a spouse, if you don't have a POA, or, somebody who can access it when you are unable to access it, even if it's an app. Because I'm thinking,
Does anybody watching, do you guys do things like that as well?
I followed the autism dad, and he, on his podcast recently, he had someone, and she was talking about an app that she had developed that it has like that real time information that you can like let babysitters know and caregivers know, different things, or teachers, and I don't remember the name of it, and I'm not 100% sure everything that is detailed in the app or how much it costs,
Okay.
or if there's a cost or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, if you have an app, or if you don't have the app, then you can, like you said, to me, I'm the same way as you. Google Drive, I can pull that up on my phone. And most people can. They just have to go through the steps of connecting the drive to their phone at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters if you have Apple or Android. I think you can access
my friend that's my POA has Apple, and so she can access it. So
Okay.
And I have an Android.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think it was specific to either of the brands. So, and the app, sometimes, the apps, you can't do them on one kind of phone, but you can do them on the other. And like I said, the one that I'm thinking of, the lady was on the week after me on the Autism Dad podcast. And so I listened, but I didn't get all of it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's a brilliant idea. And I want to talk to you offline about something regarding that. So hold on to that thought.
I got it. I'm
Okay.
holding it.
Yeah,
So,
but I would like to, what I'm going to talk to you offline about is possibly then going to be put online. So, you know how I've drawn up the little things before. So I have everything written down. Also, I feel it gives me a sense of assurance that info is communicated properly. Yeah. And I really liked what you said, Fran, about sometimes the doctor's data is wrong. And so, if you have your data, maybe it would contradict, but you could at least say, hey, this is what mine says, like a date that they were someplace. Especially like for your situation, you almost have to have it written down to see, hey, do these match? Because if they just told you the dates that they had, that's not going to match for you.
Yeah.
Alex, I have a question for you because I just noticed it. Do you have one of my sayings as your profile picture? Did you notice that, Fran?
I can't see it. It's tiny.
And no one can remember everything. Very true, Alex. Very true.
Really? Man, there's not people in the world that know and remember everything.
I mean, there might be one or two, but they're very few and far between if there's even A or B number. So, I like people with photographic memories are the ones that I'm thinking of who would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do. Awesome. That's so awesome, Alex. Thank you. That's wonderful. Is it the one where, it looks like the one where I said, you'll have to tell me, but I think it's that, the learning disability, it's just a different way to learn. It's not that they're unable to learn. It's just a different way to learn.
Mm.
And now, of course, I can't remember exactly how I said it, but a learning disability is not the inability to learn. It's a different way to learn. Yeah. That's so awesome. Thank you, Alex. I very much appreciate that. I feel very honored that you have that as your profile. So sidetrack, squirrel, rabbit, whatever.
Chipmunk. Chipmunk. Here we go.
Chipmunk. Yeah. Something. I don't know. But yeah, I just, you and I are about the same age. You've had a lot more medical things happen in your life to you than I have in mine, but I still have had some medical things that
Mhm.
they ask every time I, have something done. And I do take medicines every day. And yeah, being able to have somebody have that information if something were to happen to me could save my life.
And so I'm going back to the folder because, yeah, we have the access, but I give a folder. My daughter travels with my parents, and yes, I'm her guardian, so I sign a release for them to take her traveling,
Mm-hmm.
and that they can make medical decisions for her and everything. But also, so that gets slid into her medical folder. And then I have to make sure everything is up to date in her medical
Right.
folder for her because my parents don't know everything. And my daughter, she does her best, but she can't give you everything.
Right.
So that just reminded me of that as you were sorry.
No, that absolutely fits right into what we're talking about. At least I think so. Because it's you have one for you, but you also have them for your children because they are unable to necessarily communicate everything that they would need to. Your daughter especially is going to be able to communicate more things than your son, but there's still things that both of them might not remember or might not be able to communicate in a situation. And even if they could communicate everything, you don't know the kind of medical problem that they might be having at the time when that information would be needed and important. They may not be able to
Okay.
communicate it
Yeah.
in that moment. So, um, as you found out a few years ago, all of us are one breath or one accident away from being a person different than we are the moment before.
Yep. Um, for sure. I would not imagine I'm where I am now then.
Right.
I was working, I was doing and not dependent on anyone. And now my help just left for the day and I'm my daughter has been amazing in helping me through this since my knee surgery, but it's life is different and it's been so good for me in so many ways though. I
Oh,
know
now
that
you have to
probably
share. You can't say a comment like that and then not talk about it more.
I know it probably sounds really weird to hear that because yes, I've lost independence in some areas, but I've gained self. I've gained who I am as I've had to redevelop how to do life
Mm,
it, from this angle, from this body now that I have.
mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is it's yeah, there's differences on the outside, especially now since I have a total knee replacement. There's more differences on the
Right.
outside. With I got the staples out of my knee.
Awesome.
They're little steri strips right now, and then they'll be
Okay.
gone, and then it would be a scar, I guess.
Yeah.
But but it's more the inner differences, the ones that the world can't see, but that I see, and I've had to fight them. I've had to come to peace with them. I've had to grow with them until we were okay with them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I mean by I think I'm a stronger person. That is that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
So
makes sense. Um, okay, so her friend has an app that says emergency. So even if you look at your phone, the other person can still use
lock
the
your
app.
phone.
Oh, lock your phone. Sorry, thank you. Then it takes you to another app that says medical information, and then there is a list of allergic reactions or list of medications and surgeries. Yeah,
Oh wow.
so that's cool. And then
Hmm.
Alex says, you've had to accept who you are, but not who you want to be. I have to do it myself all the time. Ooh, that's deep,
Ooh, that's one of those you could use as a quote right
right?
there, Shelley.
You have to accept who you are, not who you want to be. Yeah, Alex, your quote may be my profile soon.
That's
Because that really
that
is
yeah.
a very good one. And I think a lot of us have to face that all the time, whether it doesn't matter what, it's whoever we want to be. I mean, I think a lot of people struggle with that on a regular basis. But
Or
yeah,
who we believe society should, and I think even that's we struggle with that as parents of our kiddos, what society says our children should be, and what how we feel like we have to help them be what society wants them to be instead of helping them be what they are going to be. So
right.
often there's that struggle, that push me pull you struggle.
Yeah. Sorry. Could you hear me clicking?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Well, see, this is one that used to scroll across the bottom, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't want it to
Glad it's
scroll
not
across
right
the
now.
bottom. So I had to do some clicking to unclick it,
Uh, that is
unallow
the
it.
hardest thing when I watch your No Limits. It's like this little thing scrolling, and I'm like, I can't watch this. I'm just listen. So I don't watch. I just listen because it's scrolling, and that's
Yeah.
something that I struggle with.
And I think of you when I do it. And I'm like, well, but I don't. Yeah. So sorry
It's
about that.
okay. You don't have to change life for me. I have to adapt as well, and so I just don't watch. I just listen.
Yeah. And hopefully someday it'll be totally, well, not totally, but available as a podcast as well. I'm still working on converting everything. I say my daughter and her boyfriend are working on converting
Oh,
everything.
really? I didn't realize it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. They're mostly she has done the converting. He usually helps me if I have like video problems, like if the hashtag no limits goes over an hour, and then he'll help me convert it and like not convert it, but tweak some things out so that it's less than that one time around the clock so I can put it on Instagram. Although
Okay.
Instagram is doing weird things now and changing things, and I don't know how much longer I'll be able to put our things on Instagram.
Okay.
But and yeah,
YouTube works.
yeah, it's been giving me fits for a while now. I've most of the Friday with Friends are not up on Instagram because every time I was trying to put them up there, I would try for, however long, and I'd leave the computer and I would come back and it would say, sorry, it didn't work. So then I would try it again. Sorry, it didn't work. So
It's okay.
I don't know what they're doing with why all of a sudden the stuff isn't
That's
uploading like it
I,
used
I
to.
watch you. I watch your No Limits on YouTube.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, my subscriber number is going up on YouTube too. So that's good.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, whether you so when it says subscribe, that's what I'm talking about, folks, is that you don't have to subscribe on Facebook. You have to subscribe on YouTube. You don't have to. If you subscribe, you get the notifications when something goes out. But same way with this. If you like this page on Facebook, then you get the notifications when we go live or when I go live if Fran's not with me. Or when I, post something, then you get those notifications. So that's all that means. But yeah, so going back to all the medical stuff, and accepting who you are, but not who you want to be. As you said, several years ago, you would never have imagined that you would be where you are today.
Nope. But I'm really okay.
Yeah.
I get to do so many things that I might otherwise not get to because of my differences.
Like what? See, you can't say those things and then not expect me to ask you.
Well, okay. Remember, I was working. What's that number?
3 jobs.
That many jobs, and I didn't have time for my family, let alone for other things.
Right.
Now, I'm able to help at church in various places. I'm able to help with Special Olympics. I can. I was helping a friend. She was having some website issues, and so we had a Zoom, and I had the time to help her walk through her website to figure out what it was that was going on. So, and the cool thing is, I've never done anything with websites until recently with the caregivers thing. And that's when I learned how to work with a website. So I have so much time that I can give to those that need it or want it. And I have so much time that I can just spend with God and just spend in His Word. And to me, that just sums it all up.
Yeah, and that's a tribute to you and your strength, because some people would have been in your situation and just said, well, I can't do anything. I'm useless. I don't have any value anymore. I'm just going to wallow in the fact that this is my life now. And you haven't done that. Do you have days where you do that? Probably. But
yeah. My Bluetooth is dying. So I'm going to try real quick to use my cameras. I've never done my cameras.
Oh boy, so now we're both going to be doing our camera, speaker, and microphone for the first time. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know how bumpy this ride is going to get.
So keep talking while I figure this out.
Yeah, so I don't really know what I was saying before you. I was saying something about life changing and how you weren't wallowing in it, and how some people would just, I'm having to repeat what I said to try to trigger the thought process back in my brain. And yeah, that, you have looked for opportunities. Yes, you have days that you are down and you maybe live and wallow for a little while, but I think that's normal. And I think that's okay, that because your life is very different now and it isn't what you thought it was going to be. So I think it's okay to have days of processing that, but you don't stay there. And that's the important part.
And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully this is going to work. So, or if I wallow in those, I have a core group of people that will reach out and say, Fran, hey, let's not stay there. What can I do to help you get out of that spot?
Right. And that's very important, because it isn't, it's easier to do it if you have help. And you have support. Maybe I should put it that way. When you have support, help sometimes has like a bad connotation to it. So I try to say support more often than I say help, because support means together. Help means, I don't know that they mean these things, but when you say support, people get that more together idea.
Help is like someone's coming down to,
right,
whereas support is coming together.
Yeah. Yeah. Help is like done to you. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I try to change that a little bit. Because yeah. Can you hear the grass being cut? I don't know who's cutting grass because Kevin's not home. So
no, I can't hear as well. Kind of like you.
It's funny though. I feel like I can hear you better since you took your Bluetooth out. I feel like you got louder. But that could just be me.
Okie doke. I don't know.
This is quite a fun day. We're having all kinds of new experiences.
Yes.
Oh, should we tell them what happened and how you got from one place to the other when you were doing your knee surgery? Oh, wait a minute. Alex has lots of words. Accepting the simple things is just as hard. We tend to set certain standards for ourselves based on others, and we need to realize that we are each different and will experience life our own unique way. For example, with Fran right now and how she is recovering from her surgery, she should not be comparing herself to others, but we all do it. Yeah.
Thanks, Alex.
Well, I mean, she's right. We all do it, and you need to stop it. Even though the rest of
Uh,
us are doing it, you need to stop.
okay, fine. Yes, tell our grand adventure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I want
Well,
to hear it from your perspective.
okay. So, on a Tuesday, Fran called me and then she didn't leave me a message because she thought, uh-oh, it's almost hashtag no limits time. And so she didn't think that I would be able to have a conversation with her. Well, that day, hashtag no limits had been recorded. And so I called her back and she said, well, I had called you because I was needing a ride from hospital A to hospital B, because she was going from the hospital portion to a recovery portion kind of place, or not recovery, I guess rehabilitation, to continue to
Yeah.
do your physical therapy and stuff. Um, and she's like, but I've already got somebody else to take care of that. And I said, well, but I'm coming over to that area anyway. And so I kind of convinced her to let me pick her up. And so then I was able to pick her up, and then she found out where I lived. I thought all these years she had known where I lived, and she was like, nope, never been there, never had any. I mean, she's like, I know what things look like in your house because of this, but so yeah. And then divine intervention, my neighbor showed up and shared some information with me that I didn't know and I needed to know, because when we stopped at my house on the way to the other hospital, the timing was just perfect for us to be there when my neighbor was needing to talk to me. And then yeah, I went and hung out with you at the hospital and got you settled. And oh, do you want me to tell the story of my pack mule story?
Well, besides, tell them about the blanket too, but go ahead.
Okay, so because she had been at the other place for a little while, you know, she needs some different medical things at the hospital, because she already had them. They didn't need to then resupply them for her, so she brought those things from home, and then needed to transfer them from the one location to the other location. And so I by the time we got her to the second location, the main part of the other place was closed. And so we had to go in through the emergency room. And so I got her in first and told them what we were there to do. And she had taken a few of her things with her. But then I went and parked the vehicle and I tried to carry in all the rest of the stuff. And when I say all the rest of the stuff, there was like probably this many bags and plants and maybe even this or this many, you know. And so I am like, I'm going to do it. I can get all of these things in one trip. And so I mean, most women do that, right? The grocery stores, you know, you put 8 different bags on your arm and, you know, on your head and wherever else, so you could just carry them all in at one trip. So I start walking across the parking lot after I've loaded myself up with all of these things. And all of a sudden I noticed this little piece of paper went flying. Well, I didn't know if it was her piece of paper or my piece of paper. So I was like, well, I can't just let it go away. So I had to like try to so I had to, yes, you're right. I had to try and find out that get that piece of paper. And I'm like, but I can't bend down and pick up anything because my hands are too full. So then I had to figure out what I could set down that wouldn't fall over. So I get this little piece of paper. And then I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. Now, how am I going to pick these things back up again and, you know, situate myself? So I picked them all up and I start to walk, and then something, a big long cord that she had fell out of the bag, but only part of it fell out of the bag. The other part of it was still in the bag. And praise the Lord, there were 2 people who were coming to their car at that point. And I just looked at them and I'm like, help. And so the very nice person came over and shoved the cord back in the bag for me. And then I walked into the hospital and gave Fran quite the laugh that like, I think it almost hurt her because she was laughing so hard.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And on top of it, I'll share this part.
Okay.
So getting out of or sitting in the front seat, it was a little painful. And so you handed me a wadded up blanket to try to wedge under my leg. Well, when I got out to sit in the wheelchair, I kind of just kept that blanket wadded up underneath my leg and then she ended up leaving it with me. Well, it turns out to be a Snuggie. And the Snuggie is a blanket with arms, you know, that you can. It turned out to be my favorite companion through the entire time I was in, and it's washed and ready to come back to you, by the way.
Oh.
But it was just kind of neat how, and there were times when I felt alone, and I was like, oh, Shelley cares for me. She left her blanket with me.
And what did it remind, besides reminding you of me and that there was someone out there caring for you, what did it remind you to continue to be? What were the designs on the blanket?
Peace and love.
Yeah. So
to have peace.
Yeah.
And it did. It was, and so it was just nice, and it reminded me of just that I wasn't alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important. When people are in the hospital, sometimes we feel like we can't give them time, or we can't go and spend lots of time. But you know what? Just someone coming and spending a little bit of time is so valuable to the person in the hospital. And I say that from experience.
Yeah. And so at the beginning of this, we said, oh, it's been a long time since we've been together. Well, so not only did I have the wonderful privilege to take her that day from one to the other, but then last week when it was Friday with Fran time, I was like, well, she's not feeling well enough, but I've already got this time. This is Fran's time. So I got to go back to the hospital and visited her then. And
we went and sat.
I didn't really sneak you out of your room. They knew I was taking you out of your room. But yeah, we went outside and sat in this really nice garden area that the hospital had.
And I walked the furthest I've ever walked. Did you know that?
I knew it was the farthest that had gone so far.
Yeah.
She's a little really determined. Far. Yeah, bless her heart. She was almost sleepwalking on the way back in because she was so tired. The medicine had kicked in, and it was such a long walk to the garden and then back that I think she barely made it into her bed before she had her eyes closed and was like, "Oh, you're gonna go, right?"
Yeah.
But that's okay.
But I'm not
physical therapy. It's not like
now.
Huh?
I'm not taking any pain meds now.
Oh, I can't imagine that that's easy, because it's not that you don't have pain. It's that it's affecting you physically other ways.
The pain meds are affecting me horribly. So yeah, I'm not able to.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know about Alex, but Mom and I know about having medicines that don't agree with you, and you have to stop taking them, even though they're helping another area. Mm-hmm. The area that they're not helping and hurting is worse.
Oh, but I do want to share something. Can I share something?
Yes, of course.
I want to share about my daughter.
Okay, please do.
And how she has just stepped up her game unbelievably since I've been home. And it's just been such a blessing. She's
I can hear you.
What did she say? I heard her say something. I didn't understand it.
I can hear you.
Oh.
My daughter's in the living room, so she can hear me, but that's okay. I want her to hear this.
Oh,
thank you.
Bye, Mom. Where are you off to? Don't tell me. No, I mean, don't tell me live, but.
But she fills this little ice machine thing that I have. Mm-hmm. Throughout the night, in the middle of the night, I'll holler out, "Allie, what, Mom? Could you please bring new frozen bottles?" And she does. And
that's awesome.
She's helping me pick up things I drop, and and I have this machine that I sit in that moves my leg back and forth. Mm-hmm. And it takes up my whole bed. Well, I don't want it in there all the time if I'm not using it. And there's no way I can physically pick it up. And she picks it up and carries it, and it's awkward, and she has yet to complain. And so I just it's been a blessing, and just so neat to see her step into a role that I need and do it well.
Yeah, that's so awesome that she is, like you said, stepping up and helping you out, and understanding that you're not trying to burden her, that she is truly being helpful, and that you need that support, and that she's able to do it. And
she gets aggravated when I do things that she thinks I shouldn't be doing.
Ah, well, that's good. You need somebody in your house making sure that you're not doing too much.
And hollers at me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Mom doesn't know anything about that. She doesn't ever have her children telling her that she's doing too many things or more than she should.
I seem to recall a ladder and feeling something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And she, I think, left, so she can't say anything either. So. Fran, it's time.
It's time?
Yeah, we have been on already almost a full around the clock.
Okay.
That went really fast.
Well, I think it was because we were talking about things that we have really impacted us recently.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
We had like this many church days to catch up on.
Yeah, so. That's true.
All right. Well, I mean, we don't have to instantly end, but
okay.
Yeah, we do need to wrap it up. So what words of wisdom do you have to wrap up our session today? It was good to have you with us, Alex. Thanks for joining in.
And thanks for your words of wisdom.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get those words in the
I know.
comments.
I definitely will.
Do I have any words of wisdom? Just be you.
That's perfect. And love you. Be you and love you.
And love you for just you. And also remember, you are not alone.
Yeah.
Even in the darkest times, you're not alone. So there's a new number that just came out for texting.
Yep.
But I don't know what that is because it's a number. What?
988.
So that number there, you can text.
Wait, no, I don't think you can text that number. That's the number to call. There is a number to text, and that's
the number to text, isn't it?
So, I think it's a hotline, like you call, like you would call for the police in an emergency.
Okay, that's the number to call. Sorry, I didn't mean to misinform.
That's okay. Because it's only this many digits, and you need more than that, I think, to be able to text.
I don't know.
I'll have to double check that, but I thought it was, like it's, so 911 is the number to call if there's an emergency and you need the police or the fire department or something like this. And the number that I'm thinking of, maybe it's not the same one that you're thinking of, is 988. And that's the one that people can call for mental health support. So, yeah.
I don't know. These numbers.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to look and see if it's that we're thinking of the same thing. But all right.
Reach out.
Yeah. Be you, love you, accept you.
And we'll see you.
And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye.